best 5 sets of legendary accessory that you can have for your marches, for field battle marches. I'm gonna give you the best 5 sets in this video for your field battle marches, and as an extra I'm also gonna talk about garrisoning accessory pairs and rallying garrisoning pairs, and I'm also gonna talk specifically for specific marches what pairs of accessories work the best in Rise of Kingdoms. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom video. My name is Legend Ronnie and today I'm going to talk about legendary accessories for your field battle marches in Rise of Kingdoms. Like I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, I'm also going to give you in details what I'm choosing these legendary accessories, and I'm also going to talk about, as I mentioning, garrisoning a little bit and rallying a little bit from my point of view, from my perspective, which are the best accessories that you can go with. As you all noticed and as you all seen already, Heroic Anthem, Strife of the Eight, or Future KVK, which might be the Trojan Horse, this is going to be on a regular basis in Rise of Kingdoms, and this is something that everyone will do. So legendary accessories, this is something that you have access pretty often. I would say that probably at least 3 KVKs on a year with this kind of crystal tech. This kind of accessories will be very accessible for everyone. Rather you want to go heavily and get them, or you just want to get one because either you're a free-to-play or a low spender and so on. But I have proven with my alt account that you can get at least 2 even as a low spender. As free-to-play you might be able to get only 1. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I have done the follow-up videos, the previous videos, where I forged, and then when I've done my thoughts regarding the legendary equipment. Because as you all seen on my cavalry, I already done the cav set. 2 pieces are on Attila, but the rest of the pieces are on Saladin. Is on the right down corner as I click on the set, and yes, I forged the gloves and they didn't went with the special talent. Because of all those videos that I've done recently, I realized that having epic equipment with special talent and then just going for legendary accessories, it is the best way how to invest your materials on equipment in Rise of Kingdoms. This is the reason I'm doing this video, because the previous video was just generalizing that the accessories it is much better to go with, but I didn't mention specifically which accessories you should go for each set of march that you're going to use, or for each pair of march that you're having. On my previous video, one of the marches that I was recommended of being the best of both worlds, right, because it was the best 5 marches 2021, best of both worlds, it was Guan and Leonidas. Now, which accessories would I go for a Guan and Leonidas, which you probably have them? The first thing that I would go with is Horn of Fury, and the second thing that I would go with is Class Lucky Coin. Now, you're probably wondering, why would you want to go with the coin? Because Leonidas already offers Guan Yu a shield. Yes, but you need to reach 50% to start getting Leonidas shield. Well, at 50%, my friend, at that point you should retreat your march to refresh. Does it still worth it to wait that long on the battlefield, or still stay on the battlefield so you can generate shields? I don't think so. So there you go. The coin is one of the best in slot for Guan Yu. And the second accessory that I will go for Guan Yu is Horn of Fury. Even though he has a very nice rage engine with Leonidas, I wouldn't mind empowering that rage engine even much. And this is not all. If you're going with Horn of Fury, you are getting a 30% chance to gain extra 50 rage. You can remove the feral nature from Guan Yu. This is the talent tree that I usually use on Guan Yu, and you can put those 10 talents and you can go on conquering. Or you can put more talents or infantry, but I would rather get the buckle shield from conquering, and you can probably get even the moment of triumph, because right now this is the talent tree that I have. So this is 2, 3, 5, right? Feral nature only gives you a 10% chance for 100 rage. So there's 10 talents which you can put them over here on conquering. Also get a little bit of attack stats, get 9% counter attack damage taken, and also get moment of triumph. It's true that it's only when the march or when the rally it's over 90% in strength, but you do have a very good rage engine, and for a few hits right at the beginning you might do some very powerful hits, especially if you're that kind of player that want to keep going in the city and going out of the city, keep refreshing marches. Moment of Triumph might be something that you want. If not, you could go more talents on infantry, get more march speed, so you have an even higher mobility on your march, or probably go further up and get some more attacks, some more stats, and so on. But I think that Horn of Fury with Feral Nature might be a little bit too much. So if you do get the Horn of Fury, then definitely you want to drop the Feral Nature. I think this will be the best of both worlds as well in terms of accessories for Guan Yu. The coin will help you pop the extra 50% skill damage, and then you have the horn to give you the rage. Other variations that you could go on Guan Yu, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't really go with the 5% pendant. I have tried so many times to put this 5% skill on Guan Yu, and I haven't seen so many benefits. I haven't seen something extra going off from Guan Yu. I would say that these 5% skill pendants work very well on archers and work good on cavalry. This is just my advice about this pendant of Eternal Night. And if you're thinking about dagger or Mora's Web, I think it will benefit other marches more than Guan and Leonidas. So there you have it, the best two accessories that you can go for your Guan Yu and Leonidas is Horn of Fury and Scholas Lucky Coin. I wanted to mention about all these accessories in that video, to tell you the truth, but I realized that the video would have been too long to mention the accessories as well, and who would want to watch a very long video. And that's the reason I'm doing separate about the accessories. The second march that I was mentioning was Artemisia with YSG. I'm gonna mention about Ramses as well, if you want to use Ramses. So Artemisia and YSG. What do you think? Will I go with Horn of Fury or Artemisia and YSG? No. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't pick Horn of Fury on Artemisia and YSG. Now, why is that? Because Artemisia silence herself has a 50% chance. You can check her 4th skill to get 50% damage. Now, those 50% chances are pretty high when she reaches 80 rage. Now, there's a very high chance that this Horn of Fury can proc when you are a max rage, because it takes 3 seconds of silence from 80% to 100% rage. You're definitely going to be at 100% rage. The Horn of Fury can, one, either help you to get faster, but it can also be a waste while you're in silence for 3 seconds. Not to mention that you can get a Guan Yu silence after that. Not very beneficial, right? You can be on a 3, 5, maybe even 6 seconds silence with your Artemisia if you are unlucky. And she gets the Self silence, then you can get the Guan Yu silence, and then kind of Horn of Fury being a little bit of a waste on your Artemisia because of her self. And the accessories that I would recommend on Artemisia would be the Pendant of Eternal Night, the 5% skill damage. So whenever she fires off her primary skill to be as powerful as possible, and you have YSG as well as a second, plus YSG also offers Rage Engine as well, because I was talking about the Horn of Fury. And you have options as the second trinket. You can either go with Concealed Dagger or you can go with Mora's Web. And as a third option, it could be Ring of Doom. Now that is entirely up to you if you want to go with Ring of Doom. My honest choice would be either Karak's War Drums or Set's Call, but they are not available yet into the game. And you're probably wondering, whoa, that's crazy, why would you even do that? It's because of her self-silence. There is no better accessories than just the pendant or maybe the Scholas Lucky Coin, but to be honest, to force so many coins just for Artemisia, I don't find it really helpful. While the 5% skill damage can be very useful on any other skill damaging march, and this, one of these two trinkets which are very good as support, it will fit perfect on Artemisia to try to empower some of your other marches. This is just my opinion, and this is for your 5 marches, right? Because when you hit a target, you swarm it with 5 marches. Now, what I will personally go, it might be the Pendant of Eternal Night, and I might go for Concealed Dagger to try to reduce the health on a target as well, to try to reduce the stats, so that way the target that I'm hitting is gonna go down faster. But if these two trinkets might become available, I might look into it because they look very nice. Attack have a 10% chance to grant 50 rage for up to 2 nearby allies. So it doesn't mention about your march is nearby allies. This effect can trigger at most once every 3 seconds. So you can help your other marchers, and this one gives you 10% chance to grant up to 2 nearby allies 10% increase attack. Think I might go a little bit with the Karak war drums to give more rage to some of the other marchers. It might help better. But for now, it's gonna be Concealed Dagger. The third march for your murder ball, it was Richard and Alexander. Now, what do you think that I would go for a Richard and Alexander? The rage engine is not really so great, so Richard could definitely use some rage. And Horn of Fury is the best one to go with. You have the defense talent tree, so you want to pop Richard's primary skill as much as possible, and you want to pop Alexander's. So for that, you need Horn of Fury to generate more rage. Now, the second trinket or the second accessories that you want to go with on Richard and Alexander, I would be very inclined, and personally I don't have Richard yet, but if it comes to a point where I might take Richard, then this would be the options that I would go with: Horn of Fury and Mora's Web. So I already mentioned what I will pick on my Artemisia. So I have Concealed Dagger that will reduce the health on the target, and I'm also getting Mora's Web, which decreases the march speed of cavalry units, stack up to 3 times, and also reduces the defense of the target. So I get health reduction and defense reduction of the target, and that will definitely help me out to take my target down faster. And it will also help Richard because Richard is very slow, although he has a lot of march reduction, but with Mora's Web, it will help you reduce the target's march speed even more. So if you do hit some cabs or some very fast cabs, you can probably reduce their march speed as much as possible. And if you're wondering on Richard and Alex, like you can go with something else, maybe a coin, I honestly don't really suggest forging so many coins. That's just my idea. It's up to you what you want to do. Now, the fourth march that I recommended, Saladin and William, which are the best accessories for them. Well, Saladin has the support tree. Support tree has a very good rage engine. After each skill, 150 rage, that's pretty huge. I still think it's not a high rage engine as it should be. So Horn of Fury is definitely needed on your Saladin to try to pop his primary skill and William's skill as much as possible. William's 4 skill also grants rage to your other marchers or some nearby allies, up to 5 apparently, and also some defense. So a very good and solid rage engine is definitely needed. Horn of Fury is a must-have for your Saladin and William. Now, the next trinket that I would go on Saladin and William, there's plenty of options that you can go with. Personally, I think that the pendant is the best one to go with because it gives you guaranteed 5% skill damage. William has his primary skill and also has his third skill, if I'm not mistaken, that is empowered by his expertise. That's 1500 on his primary up to 3 targets, and then another 1000 depending on your luck, because it's with a 10% chance, and you get 1700 if your Saladin is max skill. So 5% skill trinket might be the best way to go as the second trinket, but if you do have a lot of Ring of Dooms, you can definitely put a Ring of Doom or a coin, it also works, but my recommendation would be the pendant. Other options that you can go with your Saladin and William, since that is a support tree, right? So Saladin and William, they definitely do a lot of damage and they are very powerful and very offensive. You can also go with one of the support trinket as extra to try to support some of your other marches. But again, these trinkets are not yet available into the game, and if you press Origin, it just says event. So we don't know how available or when they will be available into the game. And if you're not sure and you think that, hey, yeah, I agree with Horn of Fury, Saladin and William, they definitely need a better rage engine, but 5% skill for a support talent tree or a coin, I'm probably not so hype about it. You have option with the epic ones, and you can either go with Ancient Stratagems, which is very good to get some extra troops capacity, or you can go with some Delayed Amulet, which honestly, I find Delayed Amulet to be very, very helpful. I would almost consider the lane amulet with the special talent, once you get her expertise or special talent, as powerful as a legendary accessory. That is just my opinion, and this is just what I have noticed so far. As you notice, I have 5 of them on 5 marches, and because I don't have enough legendary accessories, I still use a lot of the lanes when I do my field battle marches. Regarding the silent trial, I did talk and I did mention a couple of times about silent trial. Once a target is being swarmed, to reduce his rage, I think that's really meaningless, and I think a lot of tests have been done as well. A lot of players told me that when you swarm a target with the multiple silent trial, you don't really see a difference because the targets get extra rage when they are swarmed. On a one-on-one situation, then the silent trial might be helpful, especially if you have it with a special talent. On an Attila and Takeda situation, that's where I see the silent trial very, very helpful. And honestly, that's the reason why I have only one. I never went and bothered to spend my time for silent trials because I only see it very helpful on Attila rallies or on Attila march going on a one-on-one situation. The 5th march that I recommended on my best of 5, best of both worlds, was Attila and Takeda. Or if you're not really happy about Attila and Takeda, you could go with Harald and Trajan. But first I'm going to talk about Attila and Takeda. Because Attila has the attack tree, he doesn't have a very good rage engine. You definitely need the Horn of Fury. The Horn of Fury is a must-have. A lot of players are probably thinking about Greatest Glory because they do normal attack damage, and it's true. The Greatest Glory, it is a very nice accessories for Attila and Takeda, because Attila and Takeda does normal attack all the time. This is 5% normal attack bonus, like you have it all the time. But on the other hand, when Attila pops his primary skill, you get 30% normal attack damage and counter attack damage, plus you reduce the target's attack with a chance. You can check his primary skill to read everything he does, and then you have Takeda's primary skill, which works hand in hand with his expertise, right? So for 4 seconds you get 30% normal attack damage. Now if you can pop skills faster, it won't just help your Attila, or it won't just increase all this normal attack damage, but the more you do, you basically get more damage. So I really believe that Horn of Fury on the long run is much powerful than the Greatest Glory. Or you're probably thinking that you should maybe go with both of them. That's not a bad choice either. So you can have a very good range engine and you have a guarantee 100% normal attack damage increase as well. That will go with Attila's primary skill. Then you have Takeda's primary skill that works very well with his expertise. That's also a very good option. But my recommendation is Ring of Doom, because I honestly believe that kind of 90% of the situation, the Ring of Doom is very good only for Attila, and this 50% damage, whenever it goes on, it doesn't matter because Attila and Takeda, they do damage, they do normal attack damage all the time. So it empowers their normal attack damage and the counter attack damage. Horn of Fury and Ring of Doom is my recommendation for your Attila and Takeda, especially if you got some good RNG, that this one goes off when Attila chances goes on with his super nuking, or goes with the 4 skill of Attila, then you might have some crazy normal attack damage increase. You might see some super OP white numbers, but that's just luck. All the things to line up and just go all in the same time. But whenever Ring of Doom procs, whenever you have the 10% chances, for Attila and Takeda, it just doesn't matter because they just do normal attack damage. And a lot of players said that probably the Vengeance is also a very good solid option that you can go with Attila or Concealed Dagger. I honestly don't think so. I honestly believe that you want to empower their damage with either a good rage engine or just damage increase, rather just empowering their counterattack damage. I would say that the Vengeance would be very good for Attila in a small amount of situation. So if your Attila is being swarmed, like if you're doing counter rallies or you're rallying a city and they are just swarming your Attila because they don't want you to zero that city or whatever reason, then you have the Vengeance force, then you can put Vengeance on your Attila and Ring of Doom. It would be the 2 items that I would put on him. and you will have the best output from your Attila and Takeda rally. But like I said, that's a very slight and small amount of situation where vengeance can be very good. Or even if you do a counter rally on a flag that is being rallied by someone, and you do an Attila and Takeda counter rally because any other rally is being swarmed, and they try to swarm your Attila and Takeda, that's where also vengeance will shine. So I'll put vengeance and ring of doom on your Attila and Takeda to try to empower the damage output on the marches that are swarming. But Attila and Takeda in general, they do quite big damage anyway, to tell you the truth. So again, a very slight amount of situation where this vengeance can be useful. Now for Harald and Trajan, because it's the alternative option between Attila and Takeda as the 5th march, definitely go with Horn of Fury. And as I was mentioning on the previous marches, on the skill talent commanders or the commanders that you have feral nature, if you use Horn of Fury, you can drop feral nature. I mean, you can definitely do your own test, but I believe that Horn of Fury is a very good replacement for that, and those 10 talent points, you can probably use them somewhere else. But that's entirely up to you. If you really want to have super rage, then you can keep the feral nature. Horn of Fury would be the first option for Harald and Trajan, because Trajan primary skill also buffs your marches. So the more primary skills are being done, the better it is overall. First, Harald does damage, and second, Trajan buffs your other marches. And the second accessory that I would go for Harald, and that's because you have Trajan as a second in command, which he doesn't do so much damage, and most likely you're gonna go full infantry. So you'll only have like a 300 and 400 nuke from Trajan. It's not going to be such a huge thing. If one of these support trinkets are accessible, I would definitely go with one of these, either with the rage or with the attack, but I'm very much in favor of the war drums from Karak to try to help my other marches. But if not, the options are very limited. Either go with a skill damage so you can empower Harald as much as possible, even though I told you when I said about Guan Yu, I don't see so much benefits from the 5% skill on infantry. It's not really working so great. Or you could go with a coin, or you can go with a Ring of Doom. Another viable option for Harald is Vengeance, but probably that when you do rallies, just in case people want to swarm him, because he does have a powerful counterattack boost when he's being swarmed, and trying to boost that can also help you a lot. I'll be very honest that as a second accessory for Harald, you can pretty much put anything you want except the Greatest Glory. If you want to have a second Concealed Dagger or a second Mora's Web on the field, you can also do that. There's a various of options. Me personally, I might go with Horn of Fury and Ring of Doom, or I might just go with Horn of Fury and Wine Scars, because I don't think they have enough mobility. So that's also a viable option. But I don't have Harald, I don't have Trajan yet, so I'm definitely going to use Attila and Takeda. This is what I would use for the 5 marches. Now, I was mentioning that I'm also going to talk about rally garrisons, and I'm also going to talk about in case you're using Ramses or Nebuchadnezzar. If you're using Ramses, because it has the attack tree, you definitely need Horn of Fury to try to empower their rage engine so they can pop more skills. Either you do Ramses YSG, Ramses Nebu, or whichever combination you want to go with, you need the Horn of Fury. And as the second one, it's most likely going to be the Pendant of Eternal Night. A lot of people said that when you rally, Ring of Doom is very good, because a lot of people tend to swarm, right? Or you never know when you're lucky and you pop a skill with while Ring of Doom is up and you can do some crazy damages. It can definitely happen. I haven't tried it yet. I will definitely try out in this KVK, but I would prefer to go with some steady damage. So Horn of Fury and Pendant of Eternal Night, or maybe just try to reduce the stats on the garrison, which can be a Concealed Dagger. If you want to go with Nebuchadnezzar, already mentioned about the skill talents that you can drop the feral nature if you do Horn of Fury. So Nebuchadnezzar, which also has Conquering, you could go either more on Archer or you could go more on Conquering if you put in first and you just use Horn of Fury. Now as the second accessory, again, you have option. My recommendation would be Pendant. He does a lot of skill damage. People put either YSG as a second to him or put Ramses as a second to him. So it's a lot of skill damage involved. You might want to empower that. Any other option can also work. If you want to go with a concealed dagger or you want to go with a Scholar's Lucky coin, I'm so about the Scholar's Lucky coin on Archer. As a garrison option, you definitely want Ring of Doom. You probably noticed on my alt, that was the first thing that I forged. It was for that purpose. Because if you check Zenobia or some of the recent garrison commanders, they have a lot of normal attack damage increase and all kind of damages increase. Even if the Ring of Doom doesn't go off on the same time you do skills, it will still gonna help you a lot and empower that normal attack damage. I have noticed that on my alt and how it was performing in garrison. The second best thing that I recommend in garrison is the Scholar's Lucky coin. If you notice on the Scholar's Lucky coin, it says 10% chance to gain damage absorbing shield, so it's nothing related with your attacks. And I can presume that when you're getting swarmed, you might get more pops from the Scholar's Lucky coin. So there you have it. In a Ark of Osiris situation where buildings are being swarmed, the Scholar's Lucky coin is a very good option. And Ring of Doom, if you're swarmed, I mean, whenever it goes off, that's 50% damage. If your garrison is full, you should do some crazy damage for at least 2 turns. Another viable option for garrisons when they are swarmed is Vengeance, which gives you a guaranteed 8% counterattack damage. That's nothing wrong with that. So Vengeance does have some utilities, probably a little bit limited, but hey, does have utilities. If you want to go with the Vengeance, then I'll probably replace Ring of Doom, and I would go with Scholar's Lucky coin and Vengeance. I'm not sure if it's a wording over here and still works on attack, but judging by the wording that we can see as a 10% chance, Scholar's Lucky coin is very good against swarming. In a rally situation, I would always find Horn of Fury to be very helpful, but in a garrison situation, I just don't find it very helpful. This is just my point of view or my perspective as far as I see on these trinkets, but hey, a lot of tests probably need to be done, and most likely more videos will gonna follow up regarding garrison and rallying. Horn of Fury is one of the best accessories that we have in Rise of Kingdoms right now, because like I was mentioning about the skill commanders, right, you can drop Feral Nature, and those are 10 talents that you can use in various other places that can give you a lot more benefits, right? And then you have the attack commanders. Either you want to use William or first, you never know. Some people might want to, or you use Attila or Ramses, or use defensive commanders. They all need a good rage engine because the primary skill of each and every commander is the most powerful. And Horn of Fury is a very good accessory for that. Everything else that you see over here on the table is just small additions, but some of them can be very powerful and have a very high impact on the battlefield. So I'm not sure if you were paying attention when I was saying the 5 things that I would put on my marches, but there is a Mora's Web involved, there is a Concealed Dagger involved, and if these 2 accessories will be involved in the future, that's also going to be involved in my 5 marches to try to boost them with their own accessories. That's pretty much about this video. This is my thoughts about accessories and legendary accessories. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? Does legendary accessories really worth it that much, or some of the epic ones? Like I was mentioning that I'm super happy how Delaying Amulet is performing. What do you think, and are my choices really amazing for these marches? Until next time, this is your boy Legion signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends.